stand back away from the camera because the camera's telling me that I am live. Good afternoon, good evening, good day, good morning, good whatever it is, wherever you are in the good wide world. Hopefully you're all well. Before I bring my compadre in, let's have a look at what we're turning, because for some unknown reason YouTube doesn't want to put that picture up. For God knows why. But all I've done is mounted a faceplate ring on what will be the inside of a bowl. That is the outside. Now you can just see, I will pick this out. Let's go this way. That is loose. It's a bit of bark. It will come out. It has come out just now. I put it in so that you could see the hole that bit will leave, which is quite a divot in the side, so we might have a bit of an inclusion on the top as it comes round. So, but I have a bit of meat there to work with, so we'll see how it goes. So it's going to be a winged bowl of sorts.
Give you a rim on it. Yep.
It'll give me a rim. So let's go over onto that one. Let's bring Andy back in while I mount this up.
Hello everybody, thanks for all your greetings.
Yes, thank you everybody. It's nice to feel wanted at times.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, does it?
No, not when you get our age. It's all, can you do this, or are you going to do
or
that?
go away.
Yeah, yeah. What are you after? So,
but the weather forecast.
Yes, you can do that for
report,
West Sussex.
The weather report is it's been quite sunny all morning, but it's clouded over now. But it's still reasonably warm. Reasonably, I've got the heater on, but it is reasonably warm.
It's reasonably warm. So, yeah, it's not brilliant.
And the wind's died down. That's nearly gone. So yeah, it's not bad. Not a bad day. But I'm sitting here in my shirt sleeves, so I've got the heater on.
Yeah, and I've got a smock on, so I just turn the heater off. Right, let's dispose of Andy, get him into the background for the time being, because you guys want to see what the wood turning is. That's the best picture I can do. I'm sorry if it's flickering slightly. It's these LED lights. Not sure what it's like on YouTube, but it's
fine. Looks fine.
Certainly flickering a bit on StreamYard, which is where I'm obviously watching and controlling it from.
No, it looks absolutely fine, Keith. So
good. You can see some of the colour. I've had to kill one set of lights. It was coming out bleached. It's just like a bit of ash, white ash, but it's actually quite yellow, which will become evident.
It'll be more obvious later, won't it?
Yeah, yes. If I stand more in the way of one of the lights, it actually gives you a bit more of the colour. But it is quite yellow and amber. And the comment I got last time was it looks very much like Osage orange, which it isn't, but it looks like it, that sort of colour. So, right.
Yep, I see Alison's come in as well. Happens to be indoors.
Yep. Hi, Alison. I'll look after him. He won't get dirty today.
So, or knock myself around anymore.
Yeah, or bully himself. Yeah, so in reverse, turning off the back, turn the dust extractor on so it sucks 95% of it away, and away we go.
Right, shall I tell you who's in?
If you would be good enough.
Yep. Michael McEwen was first in today, and then Keith responded. Tommy's Workshop, Richard Phelan in early. Doug Miller. Eric Winkler, 32 degrees where he is. Doug Miller again. Clive Rogerson. Malcolm Douglas. Lots of people we've seen. Oh, Chris Dodds, Australia. Doug Miller. No, I said him already. I said all of them. Greg Alexander. Hello, Greg. Brian El Tornero de Madeira. Good afternoon.
Brian with a Y.
Brian with a Y, yes, absolutely. Alison Heath.
Hi, Alison.
May have mentioned her once. I've got to do it twice, otherwise I'm in trouble. Tipsy Turner.
Jeff.
Jeff, that's it. Thank you. I wish I could remember this. Cornish maid, Katie, is in. Hello, Katie. Clive Rogerson, I said him, I think, didn't I? Yeah. Roger Kent is in. Forking Owls, David?
Rob.
Rob. Why do I have trouble with him all the time? I forget his name, and I've apologised so many times now. Who's Martin then?
Was it Martin?
Michael said hello to Martin. I don't know who Martin is.
I lose track as well. So
yeah, I've lost somebody somewhere. So apologies,
yeah.
Martin, whoever you are.
Unless you are Forking Owls.
Unless you are Forking Owls, in which case, hello to you again. Anyway, I've reached the bottom now. So.
Right, this isn't going to be quite as bad a shape as I was expecting.
Actually, that's not bad, is it? No, I missed all that. Looking all right. Yes, copper is Rob. You were right.
Ah, good.
Oh, yes, it's right. Copper's Rob and Forking Owls is Martin. Right.
Ah,
got it.
yeah.
I won't remember it, but I've got it.
Currently, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tommy and Richard, for putting us right on that. I must write Forking Owls down because I never remember that. Right, sorted.
See if I can get a final cut across this bottom. It's coming
Eric
off
Winkler
nice
says,
and fine, the shavings.
yeah, it has, isn't it? Eric says the internet is so bad he's missing a lot. That's a shame, Eric. Wish I could do something for you, but I can't.
Yeah, we can only apologise, but out of our control. I know locally it pops now and then, the internet. And there's nothing one can do about it.
Yeah, Chris Dodd suggested I write things on the back of my hand, and later I'll wonder why.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I wash my hands a couple of times and it'll gone anyway. So.
If it gets that far.
Yeah. But no, it's age. I'll just put it down to age. Blame everything on age. Oh, Norman Greenwell's in. Hello, Norman.
Well, it's hello to everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully we can have a little bit of serious fun. There's one side that's not anywhere near it yet.
Katie says lists. She lives by lists. I've got lots of lists, Katie, of people's names and what their simple Christian name is. I just can't find them whenever I come to it.
You lost them, yeah.
Yeah. So I've got the right idea. Somebody said hello to Jim. Who's Jim? Oh, that's Grandpa Jim Woodturner from Michigan.
He's a new one that's
I missed
found
him
us.
missed him coming in. I do apologise, Jim, but
Hi,
you're very
Jim.
welcome.
Thank you for your comment on last week's live that we did, which I did reply to. It's always nice to get comments.
It is, yeah.
Ah, that looks quite nice. You can actually see the colours showing up a little bit better apart from across the top there. If I can cover the light, it's not too bad. Anyway, we're going to put a mortise in the bottom. So without further ado,
Did I say hello to Clive Rogerson? I'm not sure I did.
Yes, I think you did.
I did. Oh, that's all right then.
If you didn't, I heard someone say something.
All right. Okay. So I may well have done. Yep. Andrew's in with your woodshed. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
As it's the same Christian name as mine, I can remember that one.
Sort of.
Woodturnings by Barry is in. Hello, Barry. Richard Phelan's asking if the blank is wet, Keith.
No, it's perfectly dry. It was cut 12-ish years ago down on the south coast. It come from just outside of Bognor, Pagham area. I had a phone call from someone saying, "Oh, I found your details from the local wood turning club. We've had a mulberry tree fall over. Are you interested in it?" And at that time, I had my details on the club because I was event organizer. So I said, "Yeah, what sort of size is it?" And he said, "Oh, it's about 2 foot, nearly 3 foot diameter at the base."
Say no more.
Yeah. I said, "Okay, perhaps you give me your details, your address and a postcode. I'll come down for it." And it was no good saying, "Oh, I'll get someone else to come down," because I was the only one with a van of any size. So I organised it. We went down there. Mate and I picked it up and filled the van with it in lumps. Job I took a sack barrow because that's the only way we could shift it. Sack barrow and a chainsaw. We got it on, and it sat at home here for 10 plus years, drying. Don't even ask me where the name of the people, because I have no idea whatsoever. But I know where it come from roughly. So that was a good excursion down there to collect it all. Only the past 4 or 5 years actually started turning it because it was sodden wet. But if you haven't turned mulberry before, particularly English mulberry, it does leave a sort of waxy residue on the paper. It does break off. Yeah, it does break off, but it's funny stuff to work with. But it is nice. It's got its own distinct smell. I'm not quite sure what to call it, but it's certainly got its own distinct smell. Right, that was a bit of 80 grit just to get it into true. If
It's
I
got a
can
very
find,
distinct appearance when it's turned as well, hasn't it? Because of the
yeah,
colour.
yeah,
And so I've got a piece of yours that I turned, and it really stands out amongst everything else.
very yellow ochre-y.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, now we're on to a bit of 120.
Gets a number of comments too. People notice it.
Yeah, usually what is it?
Yeah.
When you tell them, it
They
is,
will start singing.
yeah, it is one of the more prestigious woods that we have over here because it was imported, so I'm led to believe, from France, and our noble gentry, when they were abroad or when they saw pictures of the French residences with all their long drive, and at the end of their long drive there was this tree bush which turned out to be mulberry, so they all wanted some. So it was massively imported at the time, but it's
Well,
one of the most dirtiest trees that you could wish for if you've got it anywhere near um, a path, because it has red berries.
all right, yeah.
They just drop off in the autumn and you just walk them everywhere.
Woody Turner is in. Hello, Woody.
Woody, good afternoon, young man. Now, for most of you, if not all of you, will not know that name at all. Woody Turner and I are fairly good mates. He lives up north and I live down south, so that's why we're good mates. He does a hell of a lot of turning and donating stuff to our veterans, which is where I got to know him from. He makes pens, he's made bowls and various bits and pieces, which he's auctioned on his site, on his Facebook page, and we've become pretty good mates. He's also donated a couple of lathes, and one of those was to the Southampton veterans, which is just up the road from me. And I've been down there and since helped set them up with various bits and pieces, tools, and plenty of wood. And if we get Keith Jarvis on here, he's another member, one of the only ones on here that would actually know who Woody was. So a big welcome to Woody from all of us, hopefully. He's a really nice guy. He's not young. He's older than me. I won't I
Good
won't
Lord,
tell you
that's
how old he is, but he's certainly older than me, and he does a hell of a lot for charities, which is why he's respected as he is. I've still got to take a little slice off because I've got a flat spot on what will be the base.
all right.
So
Oh
he's
yes, I see it.
just subbed to me on YouTube, which is nice of him, nice
Excellent.
of anyone. Hopefully he enjoys what he's watching.
Number of questions about mulberry. Does it stay that colour? Douglas has asked me, but mine has. The bit I turned, pretty
Basically,
much.
yes, providing you don't have it in bright sunlight.
Richard
Bright
Phelan says,
sunlight will
sorry, go on.
slowly make it go brown.
Yeah, as nearly all timbers do eventually.
Mm.
But colour-wise, it looks like Ravinia, according to Richard Phelan.
No, it's more. Robinia is a lot whiter than what this is, Richard.
Right. And mulberries are edible, correct? I've just looked that one up, Tipsy. Yes, you're correct. They are
Yeah, they
edible.
are edible. But whether you want to eat them after they've been trodden into the ground is another
Yeah.
thing.
Cooked
Right.
or raw, you can eat them. Isn't it mulberry that silkworms feed on the leaves of? I believe it is. Brian El Tornero has asked.
I believe it is, but I believe it's a specific mulberry, not the one that we're turning today. Haven't seen any silkworms come off of it yet.
It's the leaves they're interested in, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, so just
People,
going to...
couple of people have subbed to Woody as well, which
Right,
is nice.
nice. He doesn't put a lot of... He doesn't do anything much in the way of lives now, but he's got some really nice pen making videos up there for anyone starting out and wanting to do something a little bit different. Well worth a watch. He used to do a lot of laminating with Corian, plastics, wood, plastic, tin, Coke bottles, Coke
Oh,
cans,
really?
you
Yeah.
name it. Yeah, yes, he used to do a lot of laminating work, and they used to sell. Well, they still do sell these pens, but they're not as prolific as they were 12 months ago.
No, I think
Everything's...
that's general, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep, yep. So Chestnut's acrylic sanding sealer. Just to...
God, look at that grain now. It really shows that up nicely.
Yeah, and this will bring it up to its virtually final colour. And you've also got some pippin round there, burr wood round there as well. So I think I'm going to finish this off the same as I have done nearly all my turning life, with wax. It makes it feel softer to me. And,
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I tend to buff mine up on the wheel on the lathe, but yeah,
yeah,
I think it does
afterwards
make
I
it.
might well do.
Yeah, it just makes it feel softer, as you say.
Right, so let's just wipe the excess off.
Again, it's something customers comment on.
Yeah, it's personal.
Mm.
Just need to... Not hot enough, so just need to give that a little bit of a helping hand. You can just see the end of my heat gun nozzle just creeping over there. It's not that hot in the workshop today. Warm enough for me to work, but not quite warm enough to take the tackiness off. That's done it. Good. So as normal, it's Bison's fine paste wax from Liberon. And you've all seen me use this before. It comes out white as a solid wax. Putting it on with a Weebrax pad. Lathe set at about 200 revs. So I'm denibbing. I'm also wet sanding. I'm denibbing the cellulose sanding sealer I put on, but I'm also wet sanding to get up from the 240 that I finished at. This Weebrax is 1600 equivalent. It'll go a bit dark if I stand in the way. Oh, it's not too bad, is it?
No, I'll tell you when it stops. But
you can see that,
Benjamin's in, by the way. You can see what you're doing. Yeah, see what you're doing. No problems. Yeah, it's good.
When cutting bowl blanks, do you remove the pith section? Depending what the wood is and how it was initially cut. If it's ash, generally I would do. If it's got a very pronounced pith section, yes, I would do. Generally try and cut through the pith if I can to save it and save it shaking from the pith, but it's not absolutely critical. Depends on the size of the timber you've got, the plank you've got, before you start cutting it up. So I've gone back into reverse now, so I'm denibbing it and sanding it in reverse. That was all at about 200. I'm creep it up now to about 550-ish. Work the wax in, put a little bit more on there, work it in with the heat. Don't need massive pressure. The Weebrax pad, like I say, that's about 1600 grit equivalent to, so you'll be sanding up to 1600 grit. You can go back in the tin, lid on the tin so that it doesn't go on the floor and pick up the additional grit, sawdust. Drop the speed back a fraction, and lightly buff it off with a paper towel. This is just a standard bit of paper towel. You can use kitchen roll if you wish. You can use the safety cloth if you wish. The paper that I've got is fairly soft, so it works quite well.
Douglas asks if you've ever used friction polish.
Yes, not a lot. Used it on a few pens in the past. Used it on small stuff. You can't. It's not the easiest to use on anything much more than sort of 4-inch diameter. Unless that's me being absolutely bloody awkward, but I found it hard work.
I've got some up on my shelf, but I've never used it, so...
Yeah, I think Terry says it's better on small stuff, so if you're going to do small spindles, very small bowls, you could get away with it.
Mole Valley Maker is in.
Hello, Mole.
Another one from down our neck of the woods.
Quite happy with that. Quite a nice finish on that.
Looking nice, yeah, it's looking lovely.
So,
excellent.
Reverse it round.
Michael Azzopardi is in.
Hello, Michael. Hello, everyone. Chris at Bailey's is
Chris
in
Bailey,
as well.
yes,
So
Bailey's Woodworks.
Yep. So before I tighten that up fully on the mortise, a couple of passes all the way around, just to clear any wax that's got in there, any crap that I've left in there when I haven't totally sanded it, because anything can happen. We're all human, and we think we've got it clean, but when
more
we
or
look
less
at it,
anyway.
Yeah. So that's not too bad. Just swing you round and up a fraction. Don't get seasick, guys. I will get you organised.
Somewhere there will be fine. Yep, that's it.
Yep,
good.
That's a bit better. Up a fraction. So, a little bit more speed. Working off the back as I can. Now, if any of you have got lathes that you can run in reverse, practice on them. Practice using the reverse facility, but make sure you actually lock the chuck onto the shaft, head shaft. And you don't want a lump of metal flying around the workshop. Most modern chucks are lockable. The SK114 is not the easiest because I think if I remember right, Andy, you have to do it without the jaws or
well, if you take the jaws out to their almost fullest extent, you can get to it. But yes, it's underneath the jaws. SM Turning has just come in.
Yes, he was in there the other week with us, but he wouldn't give us a Christian name, if I remember right.
All right, so it's just SM, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mole Valley Maker just turned his lumberjack dust collector on and nothing. The fuse is okay, so oh dear.
Keith, is there a way to turn a bowl so that the tip is angled? I missed that bit, and I can't
So
go
the
back
so
up the
the
chat.
so the lip is angled high one side and low the other. Yes, it can be done. I've seen
Yeah,
Wayne do it.
yeah. So, are you? Stop it. Do you mean that it's not square with the wood, that it's tipped in or tipped out, or do
I
you
think high
mean that it's
high
high
one
there and
side.
low
Yeah,
there?
that was the way I took it.
Right. If you want it high there and low there, you need a piece of wood that is not cut parallel, or you
And with
scoop it out
gripper
with a
jaws, it's
saw.
quite easy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
or
you
you
can just
scoop it
simply
out a bit afterwards.
twist it in the jaws.
Mm.
Is another
Um,
way of doing it.
you can quite often. I don't have the surface flat. I will tip it one way or the other, or if you radius it, it makes it look a little bit amateurish at times. I think it's nice to have a crisp edge on there, whether it's on the outside or the inside. The first one, Keith Douglas is saying, oh, I've forgotten what the first one was now.
Yeah, but there's
And,
high one side than t'other here.
right, so SM is Simon then. Thank you,
And Roy,
Simon.
oh, hello, thanks, Simon. And Royce the boy is in as well.
Stand by your beds, everyone.
Yeah, you got Ben as well, so we should have an interesting afternoon. Ben's been quite well behaved recently, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. Has he not been well? I'm going to work off the front in conventional mode at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Clint at Wood Dancers in. Sorry, Clint, I missed you.
Using the calipers to check on wall thickness.
Baz, Real Simple Things is in.
No, they're all creeping out of the woodwork slowly.
They certainly are. I don't know how many that gives us. Let's have a look.
Thanks, guys.
33, it says.
33 according to StreamYard.
Well, it actually agrees with YouTube as well. That's a worry, isn't it?
Feeling quite good. I might even invest in a sharp chisel if I've got one. Not sure what that one is.
Steady on. Don't go too mad.
No. That's better. All in one swing. Right, as always, all of my chisels have got the heel ground off so that I've only got half of the bevel length against the wood.
Sorry, Douglas has just said, are your calipers metric or imperial?
These are metric, and these are imperial.
Comes well equipped.
Yeah. So as I was saying, rather than the whole bevel, can you see that on picture? Because I've
Yep.
not got
Just
a
about.
brilliant picture here. I've ground off the heel.
That's it. Yeah.
What that
When you
does,
twist it towards us a bit. That's it. You can see it
yeah.
then. Yeah. Yep.
What that does is it actually halves the bevel, so you can get round a tighter curve without reverting to a smaller chisel. So both of these that I've been using are 1/2 inch bowl gouges. and they're both ground at 45 degrees with that heel knocked off, and they both cut in well. I'm happy now that I'm not going to get a catch, or we're going to need to take it off and remount it. So I'll take the faceplate ring off, all of 3 1-inch 8 screws. That's all that was holding it on. Don't need 2-inch screws on something like this if you're careful with it. It was reasonably well balanced to start with. So we can now work on getting that middle down. Change direction. Work away at the centre. She feels quite good. You can see how waxy this wood is by the accumulation on the bottom part of the bevel. That is just waxy dust that's stuck there. It's one of the reasons it picks up on the paper.
Grandpa
Right.
Jim is asking, is there a real reason to cut in reverse, or is it just because you like to do so?
If I'm cutting in reverse, I'm generally cutting from the centre out, so I'm throwing the shavings away into the dust extractor, which is just down there. If you're cutting in forward, you're covering your arm in shavings. So it's a little bit of self-preservation and stopping management moaning quite so much at times that, no, I've just washed that. It was clean when you went out there today with the smock. There's no real reason. It works for me,
Yeah.
so I do it.
I think that's the key, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, make sure that if you do put your chucks on, you've got, you can see on this one, I've got grub screws drilled into the back of it. I've got 3 of them in there. So that fits on the club lathe or the one down the workshop. If I want to take a chuck down there, I can just take a chuck by changing the back plate and lock it on. It's a bit too fast. It's a bit too far away from the big sucky thing. I'll try and get most of the dust down the.
A couple
Down
of
the
questions for you,
Go on.
Keith. Well, Roy's the boy says, "What wood is it?" I can deal with that one. It's mulberry. And Brian El Tornero de Madeira says, "I keep hearing references to OG shaping on bowls. He spelt it O-G. It's actually OG-E-E. Brian, that might help you. Maybe it's because my handwriting's so poor, but I can't equate it to a bowl shape. Can someone enlighten me, please?" I'll let you do that if you like.
I was just looking to see if I've got one or two bowl blanks around here, but none of them totally OG shaped. This one is relatively close. Let's just go on to that one. The OG shape means that it's a curve at the bottom
Concave,
and a curve at the top. So you're concave at the bottom, rolling it round into convex at the top. This one has got a little bit above it, which you don't always have. So it could be cut there, could finish there, but it's a pleasing S shape is the best way to explain it.
It's in very simple terms. It is basically a combination of curves, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's probably the most popular combination of curves in wood turning. It gives a pleasing effect, and it's if you look back on drawings of old Greek urns and stuff like that, they've all got them. It's a very popular one for many, many years.
Right, camera's playing up.
Oh dear.
There it is.
Ah, there we are. Yep.
Yeah. It's been glitching a bit my end, but
All right.
Not quite sure why. So as this sounds quite nice, I tend to sand it a bit slower speed so it gives the paper a chance to cut. And so many novice turners or even better turners don't bother to turn the speed down and then wonder why it's taking a long time, if ever, for them to get a finish on it. Well, this was a new piece of 80 grit when I started, and that's had what 3-4 complete passes over it. You can see the dust coming off down here, disappearing down the black hole. I angle you down a bit, you might be able to see it better.
Yep.
It's just disappearing down there, down the hole. You can also see how waxy it is on that bit of paper.
Hanging on in there.
Yeah, but only got to fold that back on itself and that will all break out.
Brian says thanks, he's enlightened. And Douglas asks the obvious question that you always get whenever you mention a Grecian urn: what does a Greek urn? Yeah, okay, about €7 an hour according to Andrew.
Right,
it has to be said, doesn't it? I mean, you know.
Yeah.
one of the rules.
That was 80 grit. I'm on to 120.
Right.
And as I nearly always say, a worn-out piece of 80 grit will never make the same as a new piece of 120.
No. Popular myth.
Going down through the grits, you will struggle to make it cut. The more time you spend sanding, the more frustrated you will get with wood turning, the more chance you've got of giving it up. That's
question
basically from 2 passes of 120, and that is now looking actually quite good, although there's a little bit of a ring down the bottom there.
Question from Mole Valley Maker, slightly technical. It's Keith. Do you have a chip style dust collector or a vacuum style one?
No, mine's
I wasn't aware of those being two alternatives, but
mine is a dust extractor rather than a chip extractor. Chip extractors are normally on machines like planers, whereas dust extractors are more for saw benches and the likes of what we do. If I'm not careful, the long shavings that I can produce, although they go down there, they do build up on, as I've got a grid
yeah,
over top of it, and it does build up after a time. So you have to be a little bit careful that you don't put too much in the way of long shavings down. Wet shavings are the worst things for this style of dust extractor, chip extractor, whatever you want to call it. It's the bag type, and I've got it located in the garage just adjacent to the workshop. So it goes out of the workshop into the garage, and I've got it located in there, which is one of the reasons it's relatively noise free.
yeah,
Certainly
kind of
is for
thing.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly is for me turning. I think
And really, the safety, the dust extraction is the important bit.
yeah,
Chip extraction is convenient if you've got it. Mine doesn't pull much in the way of chips, and in fact, I've got the very fine filter on it now to keep the dust down, and that works very well. I'll sweep the chips up.
had to have a quick wipe. The nose was dribbling, and
Woody Turner says he's pleased to hear you admit to using 80 grit for a quick removal. A lot won't admit to that, so well done. I always use it on bowls as a matter of course.
well, I usually start at 80.
Yeah, it's there on my rack ready, and I use it fairly frequently. To be honest, I don't have any shame about it. If it does the job, it does the job.
Yeah, if I'm turning pens, generally I would start at 120. May even be 240. But that's
Yeah,
just
if it's
because
really
the
smooth.
wood
But
is a different quality of wood used on
yeah,
these. But
you very often I'll start from 240, but you get such a nice finish off the tool, don't you?
It's down to tool
So,
control. That's what you've got to practice on. If you're having to start at 80, 60, 40 grit, you do need
house
to.
brick. Yep.
Yeah, you do need to think about refining your tool control, and it is only down to practice.
Yes. Yeah.
There is no magic recipe for tool control. It is literally time at the lathe with the wood spinning. There's a lot of people out there that can talk a good finish that can't produce one. So I've gently arrised the outside of that. And that was 240. Stop and see what we've got. Looks almost presentable.
Talking about the dust extraction still, and he says, right, the bag type. Yes, it is the bag type, but I've replaced the bag on top of mine to something much finer. Axminster sell a very fine filter to put on top in place of the bag, because then it does really trap more dust.
Yeah, the bag I believe that Axminster supply with theirs is about 35 micron.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the figures, so yes, well done.
And then the new ones that they supply filter down to between 1 and 5 micron.
Yeah.
But you do have to put them on the right way round. There is an inside and an outside to the filter bags, and don't forever put them in.
Oh yeah, mine's not a bag. It's a metal thing.
A canister, yeah.
With the cardboard filter inside, yeah.
Yeah, But
But
the
it's
bags that you
remarkably
can
good.
buy, a lot of people have washed them, and
Yeah,
it doesn't do them any favours at all.
no, I shouldn't think it would.
So I think that looks quite respectable. Turn off the dust extractor, although it's not noisy. I don't see the point in running it when I don't need to. Right, no, you can still see.
Yep.
Swing you around a bit, that's better. So sanding sealer.
Good, yeah.
Might be enough in this tin.
Katie says she uses a Hetty Hoover. I think, is that Henry Hoover?
No, there's Henry and Hetty.
Oh, it's Hetty as well. They
Yeah, that's
excuse me. There are two different ways of extracting dust and chips, and one is to have a large bore diameter with a lower pressure. The other is to have a small one, which is what the Hoovers use, which sucks it harder, but in fact clogs easier. So I'm
and you
not
can
sure.
also now get the HEPA filters for
Oh yeah,
the Henry and the Hettys. So if you're using a Henry or a Hetty, you can get the HEPA filters, which filter down to 3 micron, I think it is. Quite a lot finer than no bag or the bag that comes with it, which is about 35, 50 micron. It's quite coarse. So,
oh, Hetty is pink, Henry is red. Yeah, that
yeah,
figures.
I know we've got one indoors. It's not mine.
Yeah. For
But
my
I can put.
sander, I'd use like a commercial vacuum cleaner
Mm,
for the
I
sander,
can.
because the smaller diameter bores gives you higher pressure, and it seems to suck it away quite well.
I've been pushing Hetty around for the last couple of weeks only because management's not brilliant. So
Oh, so you're
yeah, I
experienced
knew
with
what
a
it
Hetty
was.
then?
Yeah, I'm fully experienced with the Hetty as well. But I've got the Henry for the workshop if I knew where it was to plug it in. And I don't see why I should make it spotless in here, otherwise it should send me down here to live. So exactly the same. Libron paste wax, massaging it in. Currently this is in forward. Knock it over to reverse. About 250-ish. There's no specific speed, but if you can get that low, you can get a better cut with the Weebrax pad. It's the same with any of the abrasives. If you can go at a slower speed, it gives the abrasive chance to cut rather than burn it off. You will still get there at a fast speed, but not necessarily faster. Let's massage that in. I do happen to have fully variable speed on this lathe from 2 up to 2,800, which is really useful without changing belts, cogs or anything, gears. But it's a 1.5 horse motor on it. So she's a bit of a beast, but it works. It does for what I want it to do. And as you've all seen, witnessed, that I very rarely leave it in line headstock to tailstock. I always swing it to make life easier for myself. 2 reasons for that. I've got a bad back. Plumber laying underneath baths, working underneath the floor, getting into places where the body's not designed to bend to. Yes, I've suffered, and I am suffering a bit now at times. So make it as easy as you can for yourself. And if it's out to the front, like it is there, it's a lot easier. And
That looks lovely.
that, my good friends, is... Let's take these off so I can see, because they are a bit covered in dust. That is a
That's better.
fairly nice
Tip it up.
coloured
It looks lovely.
and
It's gorgeous.
shaped bowl with the sapwood coming in there, which actually showing through there.
There's a lot more
Andy,
usable timber on that than I thought there was going to be. I must admit,
yeah,
when you started. Yeah.
when Andy and I were talking about it, we were looking at this where I got
Yeah.
that lump of bark out of, and I said, oh,
Mm.
I'm not sure whether it's going to be an open sided, but no, I'm quite pleased with that.
Yeah, no, it's turned out
And
well.
that is actually fairly close to colour underneath the lights as I've got it there. So nice bowl, nice shape, nice finish.
Yeah, lots of nice comments. Yep.
Thanks, guys. Well, we're doing it for you. I think everyone appreciates that both Andy and I can turn a bowl and turn our hands to most things on the lathe, except segmenting, which I'm not even going to go that route.
No,
And,
I did once try it, but not proper segmenting. I just glued some strips together, going in two different directions. But it looked all right, but it didn't rock my boat particularly.
No. There he is. He's still awake.
Hello. How are you up today? Yeah. And tonight is Rich.
Yes.
I think he's doing something. I don't think he's up yet, but I believe he's doing something.
Well, the post he put up earlier on was cut down pine cones with resin around them, with a blank in the middle. So I'm guessing it's going to be
I missed that.
pot or something.
Yep.
Whether that's for tonight, I've got no idea. He didn't give any indication as to that, but as far as we are aware, Rich is on tonight, and you've got both of us again next week. I believe Andy's doing lunchtime next week.
What's the date next week? What is it today?
It's 19 today.
19th, so it's the 26th. I'm doing the evening.
You're doing the evening. Oh, you got me again lunchtime.
And you're doing lunchtime, yep.
Okay, that's just how it works. But
yeah, it's fine.
They're all balanced out, and I think it's okay, Douglas. He's not going to mention it.
The questions have arrived. Katie's just asked, "What on earth have you done to your head? Are you okay?" Yeah, well, I'm as okay as I ever have been. And no, it was the bandsaw, the safest tool in the workshop, and I managed to get a piece of timber to fly off it and just take my forehead out on the way. It hit the ceiling and fell back down again, so it was going quite well. But it was a brand new blade in the bandsaw, so it was fairly grabby, and I hadn't checked the side that it was flat on the table. And it just flipped over, which was a bit unfortunate, but there we are. The head is fine.
Yeah.
It was last Thursday, and it's nearly gone now. You know, I can rub it. It's fine. So no problem.
It's nice to be thought of, though, mate, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I said ouch at the time. Yeah. Well, I said a bit more than that, if I'm honest, but because I was on my own in the house. My wife was out, but I managed to stick a plaster on it. Didn't glue too much of my hair down. Not that much there to glue anyway, but that's another matter. But yeah, no, it was fine. It's just a scratch.
War wound.
Yep. It's the risk you take, isn't it?
So you've got me again next week then, lunchtime.
Yep.
And then
lunchtime and me in the evening.
In the evening.
And
don't ask me what I'm
sure.
turning.
I don't know what I'm going to turn
Got
yet,
a clue,
but I've got plenty of blanks around here. I'll find something.
Yeah,
turn something.
So I'm a bit stuck for wood at the moment as to know
what
to do.
I was planning to turn a mandrel that I've actually finished now. I've made. It's on the lathe next to me. for jewellery making. I was going to do that as a live, but he wants it for Saturday, so
Too late.
Too late.
Yeah.
He only gave me the go ahead on Sunday, so.
I'm still waiting to know that I haven't got the go ahead, so I'm guessing.
That's right. Yes, we both quoted for the same job, and he didn't know that we were both quoting for it.
We'll find out somewhere along the line, hopefully.
Yep. It's strange that because I put in a slightly higher quote, ever so slightly, but a slightly higher quote, and he still went for it, which amazed me.
Yeah.
But hey ho. He's entitled to do whatever he wants, really. We were both quite honest with each other about it, so there was no bad feeling.
No, there was no collusion in the back there. No bad feeling. Just glad that one of us got it. It's not can't retire on it quite.
No. It was an interesting little exercise, but where is it? There it is.
Yeah.
That's the beastie, which it's 18 inches long, 16 inches long.
16 inches. Yeah,
so it's 3 inches in diameter at the widest point. So it's quite a substantial lump of ash, but it was fun to do. It
was different. Yeah. I was just looking to see if I've got any yew. I haven't got any yew blanks in the workshop here at the moment. I don't think that I could do for next week. Go down into the cellar and see what I can find down here.
Yeah, I've got one here. I could do a 4-inch thick one.
Yeah.
With a lump missing.
That could well have come from me then.
It did. It's got 2 lumps missing, and it's well glued.
Okay.
It's well glued up, as you can see, all the way around.
Can if I stand up? Yep.
Yeah.
See that? Oh yeah.
And it's got as I say, a bit missing each side. I'll do that one next week.
Well, there's
Why
a small
not?
4-inch. It's only 6x4.
I've even put a mortise in the back of it too.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Done, but it's not you. It's Merbau.
Merbau, yep. Nice timber that.
Thanks, Katie. Yeah, that could well be the one. It's just sort of jumped out at me.
Bye, Katie. Yep. Who got over the withdrawal? Withdrawal. We haven't done it for a bit. Yeah. So I shall certainly be back to it next week, and Keith may or may not.
Yeah.
Could be Merbau though.
Could be Merbau, because that's the bit that's come to hand.
But yew is just a nice timber to turn, so it's why we tend to go back to it from time to time. But why not? Good.
But it will be a bit of a surprise for everyone. It probably will be for us as well. Yeah. Still got time to change their mind.
Yeah. It usually is a bit of a surprise. Yeah. Still standing,
Yeah. Waking up each morning. Right, I'm going to hit the off button, guys. Thank you all very much.
Bye, everybody.
Welcoming in one of our newer members, Woody Turner. Check out his pen YouTube videos. There are some good videos on there for anyone wanting to do small segmented work. And he explains it well. But most of them are 4 or 5 years old because he doesn't do lives any longer. I don't think he's got the equipment in the workshop to do them. I think most of the videos were recorded on his phone, I believe.
Right.
But I'm not absolutely sure. Thanks, Simon. Can remember at the moment, but that might be different next week.
Yeah, it might not last.
No. I'm going to hit the off button, guys.
Right,
Thank you all.
Cheers, everybody.
Turning up, and we'll
see you
next week.
Indeed.